I'm Young Buzz. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a moment that absolutely shook Seoul World Cup Stadium and lit up the entire K-pop community. I'm talking about none other than CORTIS, who just delivered one of the most iconic halftime performances Korea has seen in years. And honestly, the way this performance went viral, the energy, the reactions, everything about it, I knew we had to sit down and talk about it together. So grab your snacks, settle in, and let's break this down in a way that only we do on this channel. Before we get into the details, let me ask you this. Have you ever watched a halftime show that made you forget the actual match for a second? Because that's exactly what CORTIS did. This wasn't just a performance. It was an event, a cultural moment, something that people at the stadium and online couldn't stop replaying, talking about, and reacting to. So here's the scene. It was Tuesday, November 19th, 2025. A really important day because this match between Korea and Ghana wasn't just any match. It was the last International Class A match of the year. Fans were excited, the stadium was buzzing, and then you hear that CORTIS is performing for the halftime show. And let me tell you, the anticipation didn't just rise, it exploded. Even before the match started, CORTIS had already caused a stir. They took a group photo before going in, and that alone sent fans into a frenzy. If a simple photo can cause that level of excitement, imagine what would happen once the lights turned on and the music started. The members looked stunning, powerful, and so ready to set the stage on fire. And honestly, I love when groups share these pre-performance moments because it shows confidence. It shows intention. It tells the fans, we're here, we're ready, and you're not prepared for what's coming. Now let's talk about their outfits because the styling team absolutely went off for this one. The 5 members came out wearing modified versions of the jackets that the players usually wear. It was such a clever touch. It made them feel like part of the event, part of the national spirit, and at the same time, it made the performance feel exclusive. And for me, this is one of the little things that really elevate a halftime show. It wasn't just a stage slapped in the middle of a match. It was integrated. It felt intentional. I want to know what you think about this styling choice. Was it a hit for you? Or would you have wanted something more flashy or dramatic? Then the moment comes. The stadium is loud, the cold weather is biting, and suddenly clear screams erupt from the crowd. CORTIS walks onto the field, and the energy shifts instantly. They start the performance with What You Want, and the whole stadium feels like it's shaking. The cheers were so loud that if you weren't paying attention, you might have thought Korea had just scored a goal right then and there. And honestly, this is what separates a good group from a great group. When your presence alone is enough to shift the atmosphere, that says everything. And just when the audience is fully locked in, CORTIS hits them with Go. And you already know what kind of song Go is. High energy, bold beats, and the type of track that turns stadiums into giant party zones. The moment they dropped into that song, the entire Seoul World Cup Stadium erupted. Watching the videos, you can literally feel the adrenaline through the screen. It's that contagious. One of my favorite parts, and something fans couldn't stop talking about, was how they modified parts of the choreography to mimic kicking a soccer ball. It was such a fun detail and such a smart way to tie the performance directly to the event. It made it memorable, it made it unique, and it showed how thoughtful CORTIS is when approaching a special stage. This wasn't them recycling a music show performance. This was a halftime performance tailored to the moment, and that's why it hit so hard. Speaking of details, fans noticed another thing. The members were performing while wearing soccer cleats. Yes, cleats. Even though they were dancing on a protective turf cover. And let me tell you, dancing in cleats is no joke. That's like performing in shoes that actively want you to lose your balance. The fact that they managed to pull off sharp moves, synchronized steps, and even those powerful kicks without slipping is honestly impressive. It shows the level of professionalism and dedication they have. For me, this detail alone makes the performance even more iconic. But how about you? Do you think they should have switched to dance shoes? Or was the commitment worth it? Now, here's something that blew my mind. This was their first ever halftime performance at a Korea national team match. First, ever. And they weren't even a little bit nervous. You could see it in their posture, their expressions, their execution. They walked out there like they owned the stadium. And honestly, for those 8 minutes, they kind of did. I love when rookies or newer groups show this kind of confidence. It's a sign of growth, a sign of bigger things coming. And I'm curious if you felt the same. Did they feel like a seasoned act to you? Or did you still sense a bit of rookie energy hiding under? And let's talk about the weather, because this part makes the performance even more impressive. It's late November in Seoul. It's cold. And not the cute kind of cold, the painful kind of cold. The type where your fingers hurt, your lips crack, and your body wants to curl into a blanket. But CORTIS went out there and performed like the temperature didn't even exist. They hit every move, belted every note, and kept the energy high until the very end. That level of dedication isn't common. It's something that sets the memorable performances apart from the forgettable ones. And then, as soon as they finished, something incredible happened. Clips of the performance exploded across social media. Within hours, the videos were circulating everywhere. People who weren't even following the match suddenly knew about CORTIS and their halftime stage. That is the power of a well-executed performance on a massive platform. It doesn't just entertain the people inside the stadium, it reaches the world. And speaking of the match, Korea ended up winning against Ghana with a 1-0 score. And let's be honest here, you could feel the shift. You could feel how the halftime performance boosted the mood, the energy, and the fight inside the stadium. Even the players looked fired up afterward. I'm not saying CORTIS is responsible for the win, but I'm also not saying they didn't add a spark that helped push the momentum. Sometimes energy matters. Sometimes the vibe of a crowd can influence the game. And that night, the stadium was full of positive energy. Energy that CORTIS ignited. What I personally love about this entire moment is how it highlights the synergy between sports and entertainment. When done well, a halftime show doesn't distract from the game. It enhances it. It transforms it into a full experience. And CORTIS truly delivered that. They didn't just perform, they uplifted the atmosphere. They brought the fans together. They created a memory. And now I want to hear from you. What did you think of the performance? Did you love the concept? Did the outfits hit or miss? Did the modified choreography blow your mind? And most importantly, do you think CORTIS should perform again for future national team matches? Tell me everything. You know I love reading your comments, and this is the kind of event that sparks real discussion. Let's talk about it. Because if there's one thing that's clear from this halftime show, it's that CORTIS is a group to watch. Their stage presence, their creativity, their professionalism, and their ability to command a stadium filled with tens of thousands of people, that's not something every group can do. And I can't wait to see what they do next. So that's it for today's deep dive. If you enjoyed hanging out with me and reliving this performance, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more content just like this. And as always, thank you for watching on Young Buzz.